Alright guys, check it out. Before we bring the head down to the shop, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to check ahead for warpage. This, guys, is very important. Now, number one thing, I'm going to go with 97% of the times, ahead, when it warps, it's going to warp right here. It's going to bevel, just like this. Even though you can't see it, that's what it does. So how are you going to check that? First you're going to do is get you a feeler gauge set. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what size to go to. Just get the smallest one, the thinnest one you got. The thinnest one you got in there. Alright, and then you want to go to... What you shaking your head? Nothing. Then you want to go to Amazon, and this is like $20. You want to get you a straight edge. This thing is perfectly straight. Yeah, buddy. Now, you know, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'm just taking their word for it. It's called a straight edge, but hey, well, you never know. So this is what you want to do, guys. You want to take your straight edge. You want to lay it right across the head, just like that. Take your feeler gauge. You want to turn on the other way because that brightness.
Don't tell me which way to turn.
Son of a biscuit, man. All right. Yeah, you want to take your feeler gauge and you want to see if that feeler gauge. You want to hold this down. You want to see if that feeler gauge, will go up under there. No. Then you want to go over here. Look at that.
Ooh. That's
Over here.
Bad.
Over here. It's a little. Oops. And then over here, nothing. So just like I told you, this cylinder head is warped like that. Then you want to, and then, you know, they tell you to check it like this, then check it like this, and check it like this. I don't know why. If you check it like this and you see it warped, ain't no use in checking anything else.
Well, maybe they mean if you check it like that and it's not warped.
Dude, why you gotta go spoil what I say?
I'm just saying.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna get me another camera person.
Oh,
all right. So we're gonna check it like this.
Haven't we tried that before?
No, we didn't check this one. Like
no,
this.
I mean getting another camera person.
Look at that. That's
We know it's worked over there. You told us already.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you, yo. All right,
but see, that's my point. If you check it one way and it's warped, there's no need to continue.
Now, guys, let's try something else out here. Let's try. This is the exhaust manifold. Where the exhaust manifold go? I'm just out of curiosity now. So if we set this right here. No. Well, that's a little hole. I'm going to the ports right there. See that? Nothing. We know that is perfectly flat. That's good. But let's try. Let's turn it over. For the intake side. Now, guys, you got to make sure, as you can see, we cleaned this up a little bit. You got to make sure it's clean, because if you don't, you're going to get false readings. So, take our straight edge, set it up there. No. Oops. Nope. See? Perfect. That's how we want this to be. So when we take this down to the head shop and they do it, I'm going to take my straight edge, and I shouldn't be able to do that.
Check their work.
Exactly. It should be just like that all the way across. So this head is... Now, guys, I'm not sure. Now, I'm not sure on this that... Like, all right, Tim, what if you still bolt the head down on it? I'm not sure, guys, because, you know, to bolt your head down, they say start from the center bolts and then work your way out. That's to push, to make sure the center is pushed down first. So I'm not honestly sure, will the head actually bend? That's a thick piece of aluminum here. I'm not sure. I wouldn't take no chances. If you want to take chances, you're on your own.
And then let us know how it went.
Yeah, right? Then let us know. Nah, because somebody be like that just because they don't like us. Yeah, tell me we're good. Yeah. Tell your subscribers they can do it. All right, guys, so we're going to get this down to the head shop to have them do the work, and
I
we'll
think it's called a machine.
the head shop, and we will make sure they do their job good. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got the head down at the machine shop. They taking care of that. Now, guys, this is where the party line comes into play, and this deserves a double. Yeah, buddy. All right, so we start from right here at the end, guys. This party line is so important, guys, because right now you be looking crazy in the face, sucking on your thumb, and you don't know what to begin. But see, with the party line, you know exactly where to start at. And here we have the lower thermostat. Remember, there's two thermostats. There's an upper and a lower. The upper one is the one that goes into the cylinder head. This one goes into the block. All right, so let's get this one installed. Get a new one. New one, guys. Matter of fact, here's our new one right here. Yeah, buddy. So let's get that installed. We'll be right back. All right, guys, let's take out our bolts that we put in here before. A lot of you guys saying, well, why Tim showing us how to do a thermostat? You know how to do a thermostat. No, you don't. Now, pay attention, because on your thermostat, there's going to be on this one, there's going to be the word top up there. So that's got to be facing up at the top. That little jiggle valve got to be at the top. It helps with bleeding the system. So you want to stick that in there, just like that. Alright, at 12 o'clock. Alright, then, now guys, that if you want, you could... No, I'm not going to tell you that. I was going to say if you want to put a little bit of a dab of glue or something on the opposite side to keep that in place so you don't mess that up. But I'm not going to do that. So I don't want y'all messing something up. Now, what you're going to do here, I got a 4-inch... What is this? Yeah, 4-inch, 1/4-inch drive extension with a 1/4-inch drive socket, 12mm socket. And what you're going to do, I'm going to put that to the side for now. And you're going to take your housing. You're going to bring it. Now, if you're uncomfortable doing it this way, take off your lower radiator hose so you can control it more. But now I'm going to put this up there. I'm going to keep my housing away from the thermostat. And I'm just going to start that bolt on just like that. Then I'm going to reach down and grab my second one. And the second one is more right about in that location right there. This way. Yeah, so you can see what. Your second bolt is right down there. That in. Now what you want to do, I gotta hold the light. Now I gotta move my housing around to get that, and I'm trying to keep my housing away from the thermostat because I don't want my thermostat falling out of there. Alright, great. I got the other bolt started, and you can actually see right between there. You can see that, Sivvy?
The thermostat?
Yeah, Sivvy.
Yeah, I see part of it.
You see part of it, Sivvy? So that's still in there. All right, now I'm gonna take my 4-inch 1/4-inch drive extension with my 12mm socket. I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna just go in there and bring those in by hand. All right, let's get our ratchet. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Now you want to take your 1/4-inch drive ratchet and you want to tighten up both bolts. You want to snug it up till it stops. Then go to the other one, top one. And you want to go till it stops and then a little bit more. Till it stops and a little bit more. And I'm using a 1/4-inch, so I can't put too much pressure on it. But you want to be careful because it's an aluminum cylinder head, and you will strip that out. You ain't looking to squeeze.
Isn't that a block?
Yeah, strip the block out. Sorry, keep on correcting me. You hold that old bull. Alright, get the bottom one down. And we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing in line was the water pump. Here's the water pump. And so we got us a brand new water pump. Yeah, buddy, look at that water pump. Let's go to pump some coolant through the system. Alright guys, now, only 3 bolts holding this water pump on. Now how do you know where to line the bolts up at? Easy. If you look in there, see that little channel up there? It's like it circulates like right there. That's this point right here on the water pump. So that's where you're gonna line up at. This thing's gonna sit down there. Line that up. Just like that. Alright, but before we do that, you're gonna get you a new gasket. You don't have to, on these gaskets, you don't have to put no sealer or anything. Alright? Now if you want, I'm not gonna stop you. Go ahead and put some little, you can do a little small bead around here if you want. It's not gonna hurt at all. Alright, so let's get our water pump gasket on here. Now we know it sets like this. So what we're gonna do is this bolt that's on the top. We're gonna put this in here. Let's see if we can get those two right there, since those are the easy ones. So this way it keeps our gasket into place. Bring it down. Line up the water pump, the bolts. Oops. And try to get them started by a couple of things. That dang gasket came right off of that. If you want, guys, put a little silicone on to keep it in this place. I should have did that already. Dang, man, I can't. No, this is. Alright, let's try this again. Like this. Alright. One. And there's two. Alright, now we know we got those two lined up. Switch sides. And you can see the third one down there underneath. So take your hand, put that in there. Now we're going to just turn that by hand by a couple threads. And if you want, guys, because it shouldn't be no kind of resistance on these bolts at all. So if you want, you can go ahead and turn them all in by hand as much as you want. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, now what we're going to do is take our 4-inch, quarter-inch drive extension, and your extension, make sure it's a wobble extension. So the socket wobbles in there, and you're 12mm shallow. Because the holes in front of the water pump, remember, they don't line up to those bolts. You can't go straight. You have to go at an angle. So let me show you one right here. This one over here is kind of difficult to get to. You can get to it, but that one I'm going to use a wrench on. But what we're going to do is go over here and start off on this one over here. And you can see how my socket, my extension is going out like this at an angle, and then my socket goes. You're definitely going to need something like this. Alright, so we're going to bring that in. And I'm not going to tighten it up. I just want to just bring it in just till it barely snugs up to there. Alright. Take that off. And then you're going to get the light over here. Then you're going to get to the bottom one. That, and snug that one up, and then on this one you're going to be using a 12mm wrench, and you're going to snug that one in. Alright, so let's get all of them snugged up, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, now we can go ahead and tighten it up. Now tighten it up, I'm going to start off with the one with the wrench, and when you tighten these up, you know how we do, guys. You want to go till it stops, and then just a little bit more. Don't go crazy. You are screwing into aluminum. Especially this little section right here is kind of thin. So you can either break that off or strip it out or something. You don't want to do that. Let me go down to our one over here. Put here. Alright. And go to this. Oops. Dang it. till it stops, and a little bit more. Alright, let's get our last one done, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got the cylinder head back. Look at this, man. This thing looks nice and smooth. Guys, check this out. I just learned this. Sylvia probably already knew, but she just never told me. On the bottom of your cylinder head, you're gonna see sections that's a little deeper than others. Like, see this little corner, this little square right here, and then you go right across on the other side, and there's another one. Alright, those are wear sensors. Check that out. That means you cannot mill this head past that point. Once you get to that point, that's it. Done. You gotta replace the head. So that's a good thing I want y'all to look at. I'm just looking at something over here. Okay, it's good. Alright guys, so now we need to start putting this cylinder head back together. The first thing we're going to do is turn it over, okay, for our intake. Now, down here on the ground, we got the stuff we took off the intake, and I set it up just like the party line. That's the beginning of the party line over there. So we got those two long studs that we got to put in for the intake, and then we have the thermostat housing and all that. So we're going to do that next. Alright, so let's get these parts up there, and we'll be right back. Alright, we got our two studs. Now on your intake side, these studs have inverted Torx heads on them. And what you're going to be using is a B8 or number 8 or E8, whatever one it is. So it's just number 8. Grab number 8. Alright, so what you want to do is remember that they go towards the corner of each head, of each side of the head. One right there, and then the other one right over here. Then you want to take your 8 inverted Torx with your ratchet. You want to bring these down till it stops, and then just a little bit more. That's it. Alright, let's get the other one done. We'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're in the back of the cylinder head. Now remember, when we drop this head off, we put those two bolts in there, 12 millimeter. We take those out. And we got this bracket that goes there. I'll set that up. Tighten those up. Now we got our thermostat housing. Now your thermostat housing is going to have, of course, have a thermostat in there. So what we need to do is get that thermostat out of there. Do I got any screwdriver? I ain't got nothing up here. No screwdriver, nothing. Pop that out of there and clean it up. And that thing is dang, I can't believe I got a screwdriver in here. What the heck, man? I should. Oh well. So we're gonna pop that out, guys, and then we're gonna clean all this up and get our new gasket. And the gasket set we're gonna be using, we're using a Felpro headset. Now, very important, guys. This headset has an exhaust manifold gasket that I want you to throw away. Do not use that gasket with the cardboard in the middle and metal on the outside. You want to get you an MLS gasket. They seal a lot better. These things are junk. Not the gasket set, just that exhaust manifold gasket. Alright, so let's clean that up, open this up, get our new gasket out, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we clean up our thermostat housing. This lighting sucks. Alright, we got our thermostat, and your thermostat is going to have a little hole in it. That's a bleed hole. So you want to make sure that when you set this in, that's set at the 12 o'clock position. Now here's our gasket. A gasket is a metal gasket. You don't have to use no silicone or anything on it. Now, that's not saying that you don't, if you want to, definitely use it. If you feel that, especially if your cylinder head is kind of porous around there, you might want to put a little thin bead, a very thin bead of silicone on each side. Matter of fact, guys, I think we might do that because I don't want to take no chances of this thing leaking. Well, the thermostat won't leak because it's got the rubber seal on it. But over here, it's not supposed. You know, we're good. We're good. So let's find the 12 o'clock position. So what you want to do is position your thermostat up there, your thermostat housing up there, and 12 o'clock with the cylinder head is right over here. So that hole is got to be right about there. So let's take this off, turn it around, take our thermostat, put it in there. It ain't got to be exact, but there we go. That's 12 o'clock position right there. That looks good. That looks, yeah, buddy, good. Alright, next thing we do, take your gasket, place your gasket on.
The right way?
Yeah, the right way. Okay. Then, take your thermostat housing. And if you want, guys, you could take a very small dab of weather stripping glue and put it on the outside. You can take a little dab right there on each 4 corners. That'll keep that thermostat in place if you're not sure whether it's going to come out or not. So it won't come out. So we put that up there like that. Hold it into place. We got our 2 screws, 2 nuts, right there, one right there, and I'm still holding it into place, and the other one is right over here. You see that? Let's get that on. I'm going to put it in by hand. I'm still holding it by hand just to make sure that thermostat don't move, and once I get those 2 pretty much hand tightened in, I can let that go. Then we got our 2 nuts, 2 bolts. Let's bring this head out. Table with it. Okay, we got one right up under here. Now definitely make sure you start it off by hand by a couple threads so you don't cross thread it. And then we got one right over here. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys. Now I'm taking my 12mm deep 3/8 drive with my 4-inch 3/8 drive extension, and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them up. First of all, the 2 bolts that we put in, I'm gonna bring them in just till they get snug, and then I'm gonna start tightening up up here. And what you do is tighten it up till it stops, and if your head moves like that, just hold it into place till it stops, and then a little bit more. Alright, let's get the other 3 done, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, then we got our 4 bolts over here. Let's put those back into place before we set this on. And then what I want you to do is turn the cylinder head to where facing the intake side is facing you again. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, guys, the next thing we do is install our intake manifold gasket. Now, your intake manifold gasket is going to have a little sealer going around the outside, and on the back side it's not going to have nothing. So which side do you put it on? You can't put it on this way. I mean, you put it on this way, man, you good. You put it on this way, you first look at it, it looks like it line up, but no it don't, because the bolt holes do not line up. So take that back off. You'll have a serious misfire. Turn that back over. This is another gasket that does not require any kind of sealer. Alright, put that on. Yeah, boy, man. That looks pretty. Yeah, does that look pretty, Sibby?
Yep.
Alright, guys. Now let's get our first part of our intake manifold. There's like a spacer, and then the intake. And we have our new intake manifold of the second part of the gasket right here, but we're not going to need that yet. Alright, let's get our metal piece, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, we got it all cleaned up. Look at that. Sylvia made me do this, so I just want you guys to know that, because it was all cruddy inside. So clean that up. And I definitely want to make sure you clean up where the injector is spray at. So that's done. We cleaned up both sides. Now we take it, and on the 2 ends, we got those studs sticking out. Just bring that up and bring it in. Yeah, buddy, look at that. That looks good. And just wipe around here. And now we're going to clean up Here's our intake. We're gonna do. Here's our old gasket that's in here. I'm gonna pull this gasket. Wow, this thing is in there. Pull that out of there. Wow. And then you gotta make sure. Okay. You gotta make sure you clean this up good, guys, especially inside with the channels, because like right now there's a little oil in there, and if the oil is in there, that gasket won't set in there right, and it'll come right back out. So to get some carburetor cleaner, clean this up, clean this up. And a good thing you can do is once you spray it with carburetor cleaner, take air or something, blow it, or take a flat screwdriver, put a rag around it just like that, and go in there. You can probably put it, make it double. Then you can go in there and go around and clean it up. But that's after you spray it with the carburetor cleaner. Don't do it now. That don't make no sense to do
Would
that.
this be a good time to clean the throttle body?
No.
Would this be a good time to clean the throttle body?
Yes, it'd be a great time to clean the throttle body. And as a matter of fact, guys, we're gonna let's check that kit, and we're gonna see if we got a new throttle body gasket. If we do, we're gonna take that off and we're gonna clean that as well. But first, let's clean this up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got that cleaned up. Look at that. That came out nice. That's what you want, guys. You want it nice and dry in those crevices and those channels right there. You want that nice and clean, just like that. Yeah, buddy. You got that, Sivvy? All right. Now we're going to turn to the side. Well, we looked in the kit. We do have a throttle body gasket, so we can go ahead, because this thing is really dirty inside there. It's got 8mm bolts right there. I'm going to use my impact with my 8mm deep 3/8 drive socket. Let's get this. Where's number 4? Where's number 3? Alright. Pay attention to how it comes off, guys. Alright. Uh-oh.
What does that mean?
That looks like that don't look like the gasket that... I mean, it looks like the one that fits there. But you notice? This one's a seal.
You want to go see if there's something else in the kit?
Alright, guys. I'm going to clean this up, and we're going to go see if there's something else in the kit for this. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, guys. Sivvy went to the gasket set. Yeah, here's the new one. So we got that. We got that all cleaned up. We got it all dried out, nice inside and all that. And actually, guys, let's go ahead. And it's got a little port right there, a little opening. So we know exactly where to put this thing to line it up. And then we're just going to go around and push this gasket into that channel. Perfect. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, guys, let me take these bolts out of here. These bolts are the same length, so you don't gotta worry about it. Look at that crud. Alright, we got a bunch of crud in here. Now, guys, even though this is an electronic throttle body, don't be afraid to open it up and clean inside there.
Oh, that's nasty.
So what we're going to do is, I got my one hand over here. I'm gonna open the butterfly valve up. Then I got a little thing over here with some gas and wire brush and all that. And I'm gonna just go in, go ahead and get that in there and clean that up. And if you don't have this, get the rag. Use the rag with a screwdriver at the end of the rag, and go in there and clean that up. All right. Matter of fact, I might do that. Use it better. All right. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Check it out. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. That thing is nice and clean.
Now, what is the advantage to cleaning that out?
Nothing. just to make it look pretty. No, guys, check it out. Now, even though this valve right here is closed, there is air that seeps past that side. That's to keep this car at an idle. All that gunk built up, this car will stall out when you go to start it up. Now, this car wasn't doing that, but you might get one where
you don't know that.
Well, we started it up and all. Well, it took us a long time. But anyway, still, stop ignoring.
I'm just saying.
Stop throwing me off and all that mess, man. All right, so when gunk builds up around there, The air won't go by and the car will stall out. So what you got to do is when you go to start it up in the mornings, you got to put your foot on the gas to allow that air to come through. So we got that cleaned out. Now let's install it on. Now let's set it up. Let's get our 4 bolts. Remember, all of them are the same length. Then you want to just carefully.
Sure that's how it goes?
Positive. Let's see how we. All right, guys. You want to do this? Look at your throttle body, and you're gonna have words on the top of it. That says Renault.
Yep. Renault, Nissan, Hitachi.
Dang. Make sure that those words and all is facing up. Let's pause for a minute for Civi.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we start your bolts in. Put them in by hand first, by a couple threads. That way you don't be cross-threading them. Get this one over here. Okay, and then this one right here. All right, then grab your 8mm or 5/16 deep 3/8 drive with the 3/8 drive ratchet. I'm using my impact, guys. Only use your impact or cordless on this when you're familiar, when you're good at working on, not good, but you're comfortable with using these and you know you can easily control it. Like, for instance, that's quick. That's not control right there. Control is when you can control the speed of it, because you don't need to go really fast on this. The reason why is because, let me just turn right here. It's a plastic intake. It has metal inserts inside. So you're tightening down to that metal insert. Sometimes these metal inserts can just spin. But this one won't spin because the bolt goes through it. But on the throttle body, they're pressed into the intake. So you tighten this bolt up too much, you can spin that right there and mess that intake right up. So get your ratchet, tighten it up till it stops, and then a little bit more. Or if you're used to it like I am, I'm going to bring them in first. Alright, now to tighten it. Perfect, guys. Alright, let's go get our new intake manifold gasket, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, we got our new gasket. It doesn't matter. You can put your gasket on like this. You can put it on like this. You can put it on like this. Flip it either way. It's going to be the same. Alright, so we start off with one of the corners. You got that little opening right there. Let's get that lined up. And then you go ahead and push that gasket down into place. And you go all the way to the other end.
Oh, I thought maybe we want to stop in the middle.
Okay, keep on. Alright, let's get this done. And then when we put this in, we're going to go back and bring this over to the cylinder head. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, guys, we just noticed something, because it's funny. When you look online for this gasket set, the exhaust manifold gasket is not MLS. Looks like it actually, in the box, it is. So we're good to go with this gasket. Definitely, we are good to go. So let's get this intake on this head, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, we got our intake, and there's our cylinder head. Let's get this thing up there. Now you got these two end openings. Those are ones that's going to go on the studs. So let's go up here and bring that on. That looks great, guys. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, you got your 3 bolts and 2 nuts. The 2 nuts go on each end. Start them off by a couple threads. And then the center ones, you can see right down below. 1, 2, and you might have to get a 12 millimeter socket to get this one in. Matter of fact, it would be a good idea. I got my 12 millimeter socket deep with a 6-inch 3/8 drive extension, so we can use that. To start that off by hand. You can leave that there, and then put our last nut over the end. Now, tightening this up, guys, you want to definitely start from the center and work your way out. So I'm going to bring this one in. Get my 3/8 drive ratchet. Now, guys, again, if you want to torque it, go ahead, knock yourself out, have fun. I'm not going to fault you. But don't you dare try to fault anybody for tightening this up without torquing it, right? Because, believe me, people who can do this without it, they're just as good, even if not better, than torquing. So, I'm going to bring that bolt in. And remember those sleeves in there. So those sleeves won't let you go but so far. So you want to go till it stops and a little bit more. That's it, all right? Now we're going to do these two and then the outer two, all right? Let's get that done, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, now before we get ready to install this head, turn your head to the front of the cylinder head. You're going to have, this is very important, guys, you're going to have a little grommet right here. Take your screwdriver, pop that out. You can see that thing is like, that thing is flat, it's brittle. So that's some oil passage right there. So you definitely want to make sure you replace that. All right, just going to wipe this, clean this up, maybe spray it with some carburetor cleaner, and your kit is going to have, where's the new one at? Oh. Your kit's going to have a new one. You can see the difference between those two. How flat that one is, and this one is rounded. And these O-rings will set right in there. It's going to be a little bit of thing. It's going to set right in there just like that. But I'm taking that back out because I want to clean that up and make sure this is nice and dry and put in there. Now, guys, if you skipping the next part of putting this cylinder head on, trust me, I guarantee you, any of them guys that don't do what I'm about to do, it's leaking oil, either internally or externally. So definitely pay attention to what's coming up. So let's clean this up, stick this in there, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, here it is, the important part. See this strap right here? Let's follow this strap, how I got it going around. Got it hooked up around the strut. And I don't have it all the way tight yet like I want it, but I just want you to see that part first right there. Now what you're going to do is go up here, and what you guys are going to do is look at this timing cover at this angle right here. And as I wrench it, you're going to tell me, Civi's going to tell me, do you see this cover, the top half of this cover flex towards the passenger side, towards me. Alright, ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Now what you want to do, guys, is just a little bit of tension. Just like that. Now you took this cover and brought it forward. Why did I do that? This part right here, guys, is super crucial. I mean, other guys will not show you this because they have no idea what the heck they're doing. Yeah. No. They don't have, it's not that they don't have no idea what they're doing. It's just that they're not taking this into consideration. Now, in the repair manual, they tell you to remove the front cover. That's because this thing's got gasket sealer all around it. You need to put that head down, then the cover goes on front. So a lot of guys figured away, hey, I can do that without doing that. Yes, you can. But now you got an issue here. Because if you look on this side, I didn't clean up this. I still got little gasket pieces I got to take off here. I didn't clean up this thing all the way. But in the center of that, let me get that. On this section right along here, on the inside, you can come on this side.
I got it.
It was never, even if you take yours off, you are not going to see no gasket sealer or anything in the center of where that gasket goes. Why? Because that thing is so close to that cylinder head. It's just that close that it's right there. So right now, if this cover is pushed back, if I didn't pull that cover back, you're going to push your cylinder head on, what's going to happen? You're going to move you're going to smear all that gasket sealer away from there. And what's going to happen, guys? You're going to have a leak. Now, here's the most important part. That new O-ring that we set in there, you're going to go ahead and try to push that head down with that new O-ring there, and it's going to mess up that O-ring. Either going to knock it out of place, or it's going to rip it, and you're going to have an internal oil leak. Then you're going to be looking crazy in the face. Now let's go over to our cylinder head, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're over at our cylinder head. Remember the O-ring we put in? Now, if you can see that I don't know if you could probably see that. See if he's pretty cool with some videotaping. Give Sylvia a yeah, buddy. Alright. You see the O-ring? You can just stop messing around. You see the O-ring? The O-ring is protruding away from the cylinder head just a little bit. You see that right there, Sylvie?
Yes.
See how it's sticking out right there? So guys, remember, if this cylinder head is up against that timing cover and there's no clearance at all because there's no gasket sealer, you go ahead and try to put that in there. You're going to mess that up. And that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. It might not happen. They might not notice it when they start it up, and that's all they do is telling you, giving you the video and say, go ahead, keep it moving. Yeah, buddy, you okay? But no, you're not okay. You got to pull that cover. That cover has to be pulled back a little bit so you can get that cylinder head in there. This is cool, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we're Astro Auto Defense. All right. Enough of this self-pat myself on the back. We need to go over here and look at our party line. And look at our party line down there. And what is next, Civvy?
The head gasket.
The head gasket is next. Also, guys, our head bolts. Guys, no matter what, I don't care what they say. The manual says, measure this, look at the pitch, see if this part is thinner or thicker than this part. Guys, don't do that. Go get you some new head bolts. They're really cheap. How much are they? Like $20-something, Civvy?
Yep.
Get you some new head bolts. And there is an updated head bolts on this. So we're going to show you that as well. Alright? So let's go get our new head gasket, and we're going to get our gasket sealer. Do not use silicone. A lot of these guys tell you to use silicone on that front cover between the head. Don't use silicone. You want to use gasket sealer. Gasket maker? Gasket maker. Why are you correcting me on that?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The gray stuff.
So that's what I call it, the gray stuff.
Get the gray stuff. Alright, let's get that, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys. Here we go. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, look at that Velcro blue gasket. Permatorque MLS. Yeah, buddy. Made in the USA. Not that that's saying much about now. Alright, so let's set our gasket down, guys. Now, take your gasket. On one side of your gasket, on this side, you're going to have these little holes. On this side, you're going to see one big hole. That goes right on this side of the block. So you want to set it down. Make sure everything's on your pins. Just like that. I don't like that, man. Dang it, guys, you gotta be careful with this thing, man. I said Velcro, but dang it, man, that's some scary mess. Because if that thing moves, you in some deep trouble. So what can I do here? Just flex it a little bit like that. Yeah, now it's sitting a little bit better. I'm gonna do it a little bit more. You can see I'm just taking it and going like this. Just a little bit. That's so it can stay on the dowel pins. Okay. Here we go. That's going to be so melts. It's a good thing we got that timing cover moved forward. Now, what you want to do is grab your gasket maker. This is high temp. Maximum torque. This is high temp. Why didn't it say have high temp up here? It's supposed to say high temp. I don't know. Alright.
Oh, wait. Okay. It was blurry. Okay.
You got it, Sylvie?
Yep.
Alright, so let's go over here to the cylinder head. Now pay attention to where I put this. No, before we do that, guys, back here on our thermostat housing, we got this bolt in here that we put in here. take that bolt out right now. You're going to have a problem. And that goes to the coolant pipe. So take that out, leave it out the way. Alright, then we're going to go to the front. Now you're going to put your gasket sealer. Let's move this up a little bit. Watch where I put this gasket sealer. And just going to go a thin layer. Like that. See that center hole right there with the bowl hole? You want to put it around that. Then this line right here. Alright, just like that. Make sure you get some right about there on that. Alright, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Another thin layer, guys. You ain't gotta go crazy on this. Okay. Just in case, let's go around this hole right here. Alright, now, putting this head in there. What we're gonna do is lower the cylinder head all the way down. Not up against that timing cover. We're gonna lower it down till it's close to the timing cover, and it's going to rest right on the dowel pins, and then we're just going to slide it forward, and it's going to drop right down. And that way you definitely take a chance of, you don't take a risk of smearing this sealer up there. That's definitely what's sealing with it. And definitely make sure you have some on those corners so no oil and all will come through. Alright, let's get ready, guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, here we go. Now I'm on top of the car and all. This is best. Unless you got if you got two people, you do it that way. Now, if you're doing one person, one foot, my right foot is on the right strut tower, and my left foot is on the transmission mount. So this way I can control the cylinder head and go right down. So let's grab our cylinder head. Alright. Now we're lowering down. Notice I'm away from the cover. Hold on here, hold on here. Dang it, that's not good. You know what? Guys, I'm gonna have to jack this engine up some. Hold on. There you go. I stuck the intake up under there. Alright. Now I got it right there. Bring it forward. Make sure everything's lining up. Make sure alright, almost there. Now, over here, is there a screwdriver over there? This is what I was talking about, that pipe, guys. Our pipe is right there, hitting up against that. So I'm just taking my screwdriver, you can see right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now I just gotta pry that back, let the head set down. Alright. I'm still away from the where I need to be, but I'm right about there. Alright, let me get down for a minute. Alright. Now, I want to make sure my gasket didn't move anything. Everything looks good. Now, my intake right now is hitting up against over here. So what I'm going to do now is just take my jack, lower my engine just a little bit. Be able to move this cylinder head now. Now I'm looking to get that thing line them up against there. I should be just about. Dang it, that thing. Got it. There it is. Laid right down, guys. Perfectly laid right down. Now, I'm going to look right between here. And I might pick it up a little bit because I want to make sure my O-ring stayed in there. There it is. You see the O-ring?
No, I don't.
Holy cow. Sure enough, that thing dropped right out of there. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, got my O-ring back in there. It was actually inside there. So we're still looking good. Alright, now let's slowly bring this forward. We'll make sure my O-ring is now stayed lined up in there. Still there. Am I down? No, I'm not. Okay, we're down again. Now again, what I want to do is pick it up a little bit and just make sure our O-ring is still in there. See it? Perfect, guys. Now we're not gonna take the tension off this just yet. What we're gonna do now is get our head bolts. We're gonna make sure everything is still lined up perfectly. All right, everything is definitely looking good. All right, let's get our new head bolts and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got our new head bolts, and this is what I'm talking about. Different head. These are the head bolts, and the head on these you're going to be using an inverted socket E20. All right, and it already has a washer already built onto it, so you don't have to worry about sitting here and trying to get that washer off because you can't. And here are the old head bolts. You can see same length and all. Throwing it to the side. All right, guys, putting these bolts in. This is very important, or you will mess up the torque. The threads have to be oiled, and under the seat, right in there, it has to be oiled. Because if you try to tighten it up dry, what's going to happen, sometimes you tighten up a bolt and you hear that. That's going to throw your torque off. So, what you got to do is, we're going to drop one in the center. Now this right here, I got my oil can right here. I'm going to use that to spray. Or you can take this, guys, and you can spray this where the bolts go on the cylinder head. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spray it right here. Put a little right there. And then, take your little bottle or something with some oil in it, and you want to coat the threads with some oil.
So you don't have to do all the threads?
No, just do a civvy. Alright, set that in there. Take your E20, and I got a 6-inch, half-inch drive extension. And what I'm going to do is just bring that down so the oil can make sure it goes through all the threads instead of just waiting. And the only thing I'm doing is going down just till it barely stops by hand. It ain't like you're tightening, you know. You can't tighten with your fingers. So as soon as it stops, that's it. Let's do one more together, and then we're going to put the rest in. So, put a little oil where the seat goes, where the seat's up against the cylinder head. Turn it over. Dip it, and then install it. And then take your socket and bring it in by hand just till it stops. Alright, let's get the rest of them done and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got them all in. We are ready to torque this down. Notice I'm not releasing the tension on this yet. I want to get this head torqued down and then release the tension to put it back into place. Alright, so next, let's clean up all our oil before we spill this and be a mess out here. And let's get our torque wrench and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're ready to tighten this up. Now guys, when you tighten it up, sometimes you gotta use extensions like this one. Try to stay close to the head as close as possible, because the longer you come up, it's going to throw that torque off. Now, as you can see, I got our whiteboard up there, and just to show you how you tighten this up, the sequence you tighten it up, and your torques. So we're going to first do it at 72 foot-pounds, loosen all the bolts. Why they do that, I have no idea. Loosen all the bolts, then torque it down to 29 foot-pounds, and then 75 degrees and 75 degrees. So, we got our torque wrench already set up. So we know what number 1 is. We got to set up just like the cylinder head looks. So let's go down here. 72 foot-pounds. Ain't no joke. Okay, number 2. So we'll do one more together, and then we'll do the rest. Alright, let's follow the thing and do the rest of them, alright? And then we'll be right back. Perfect, guys. 72 foot-pounds. They're tightened up. The next step is to loosen them. Now, loosening them is a different sequence. And as you can see out here on the whiteboard, you start from the outside and you work your way in. So, we're going to go loosen all them up now. And let me see. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to change up to my 1/2-inch drive ratchet. And then, again, let me go get the ratchet. Be right back. Alright guys, now when you loosen these up, you're not going to loosen them up and just say, alright, you're not going to just do this. Alright, that's loose. No, you want to loosen it up to 0 foot-pounds or newton meters, whatever one you're using. 0. I mean, that thing's got to be loose. That's loose. That's nothing right there. So that's 1. And then we go over here. Oops. Follow the diagram for number 2 over here. Alright, then number 3. I'm going to have to move this out of the way. And then so forth. So you see the board. Screenshot it. Whatever you're going to do. I don't know. Check the board. And then when we get them all loosened up, we're going to be right back. Alright? And number 10. Alright guys, the second step is done. The next thing we're going to do is get our torque wrench and set it to 29 foot-pounds and tighten it up. Now to tighten up, remember, the green is tightening. So that's where we're going to start by this sequence. 1, 2, 3, and so forth. Alright, so let's get these tightened up in that on 29 foot-pounds and we'll be right back. You know guys, let's do 3 of these bolts together. I got my thing set up to 29 foot-pounds. And we're starting off on number 1. 29 is very loose, so you should feel that soon. Okay. Number 2. Okay. And number 3. Alright, let's get the rest of them done, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got it, 29 foot-pounds. Now, degrees guys, is kind of difficult. There are different kind of tools out there. Degrees torque wrench is very, very expensive. And I'm going to show you what we use. It's digital, and this thing is really cool. Alright, so we got to do 75 degrees each bolt. And I don't think that's tight enough, honestly, guys. I really don't, because if you think about it, that's less than a half turn on this bolt. We just finished tighten up 72. I'm gonna try to test the torque out and see what it comes out to in foot-pounds after we're done. Alright, so let's get our tool and we'll be right back. Alright guys, you definitely want to get you one of these. This brown line degrees thing. This thing is great measurement. This thing is great, guys. I'm going to show you how to use it real quick. Alright, once you get it, set it down on a flat surface. Cut it on. Once you cut it on, the words calibration is going to come up there. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Turn it on. Let it calibrate. Once calibration is done, we're going to set it. Now, set to the last degrees we use, which is 75. We use it on this Kia Sorento, the Kia, what is the Sportage. So, it's cool. It's set to 75. But, if it wasn't, what you want to do here is you got a plus arrow over here, and a minus arrow. You can go ahead and set it to exactly what you want. But we are on 75. Now, it's all set. The next thing you want to do is it's got a little groove right up under here. Set that on your ratchet. It doesn't... Magnets. Yeah, magnets. It don't matter whether it's upside down or anything. So you're set, guys. You're ready. Now, let's go to number 1. Number 1 is right here. So now we're going to go to 75 degrees. Now, once I get ready, because I'm both already talked down 29. Once I get ready. Can you say that, CV?
I'm going to try.
Matter of fact, let me go over here a little bit.
Wait, okay.
Alright, so now I'm ready. So what I'm going to do is hit select. I'm set at 0. I'm 0 degrees. So now I'm going to start turning. And as I turn, it's counting up. It's counting up. Now, what if I get to a point where I had to stop? This thing will... Oh, my goodness, we're getting there. Perfect. 75. All right, take it off. Now, what if I ran out of room? This thing is cool because if it senses that you ran out of room and you stop, as soon as you go back to turn counterclockwise to reset your ratchet, it's going to automatically stop and pick up where you left off. The thing is cool. So that's number 1. Let's go over here now to number 2. All right, and I'm ready. I'm ready again. Hit select. I'm at 0, and we're gonna go to 75. As soon as we start going, it's gonna start turning. Perfect. All right. The next thing we're gonna do is now go ahead. Should I do one more with them? Or you have a problem with the video in on this?
No, my battery's going dead.
Oh, battery's going dead. All right, guys. So we're gonna do the rest of them, and we'll be right back.